We decapitate and we do business with whatever's left.
Welcome to Culture Screen, where we analyze culture. In this episode, we are summarizing the 20th episode from Season 6 of the Sopranos series titled The Blue Comet. The episode first aired on June 3rd, 2007. In the beginning, Silvio heads over to Bert Gervaisi's house. The DeMeo crew members know that Bert has been working with the Lupertazzi family, and Silvio is tasked with taking out Bert as a way of ensuring Bert is not used to take out any of them. Back at Phil's bar, we see Phil meeting with Butchie and other high-ranking members of his crew. Phil shares that he wants them to take out the DeMeo crew leaders and that the New York family will then be able to completely control and run New Jersey. Phil's men are later seen discussing who is to be considered part of the DeMeo crew's leadership, and the Lupertazzi crew puts out hitmen to take out Tony, Silvio, and Bobby. Tony is at Satriale's when he is visited by Agent Harris again. Tony sits down with Harris to ask him about Ahmed and Muhammad. Tony wants to know if they were captured and arrested. Harris tells him that he does not know and would not say even if he did know. Tony grows agitated and ends up walking out of Satriale's with a sandwich in hand. As Tony is walking down the street, Agent Harris chases after him and shares the news he actually came to tell Tony. Harris tells Tony that he has heard rumors that the New York crew is going to make a move on him and his close friends. Tony immediately meets up with Silvio and Bobby back at the Bada Bing, and he tasks Bobby with getting some men from Italy to take out Phil Leotardo before he can take them out. In another scene, we see Dr. Melfi is having dinner with some friends and her therapist, Dr. Kupferberg. While they are eating and drinking, one of the guests brings up a similar study to the one Dr. Kupferberg shared with Melfi before. The study was conducted by Dr. Robert Hare, and in the study, it is suggested that the criminal sociopath benefits tremendously from talk therapy as well. The woman brings up the similar study because a client of hers is carrying a pen and paper relationship with an armed robber in Attica because she thinks that she can help to change him. Dr. Kupferberg can no longer resist, and he tells everyone at the table that Dr. Melfi is treating Tony Soprano, and he warns Dr. Melfi about the potential legal ramifications that may result from her treating him. Later on that night, Dr. Melfi goes home and she reads the original article titled The Criminal Personality by Samuel Yelkelson and Stanton E. Samenow. In the article, Melfi reads how sociopaths show their compassion through babies and pets, reminding us of Tony's love of ducks from episode 1. The following quote reads, quote, "The criminal uses insight to justify heinous acts," end quote. This quote reminds us of the scene where Tony is in Vegas and he sees the flashing sun and thinks he has reached a new level of enlightenment after having killed Christopher. In the end, Melfi reads that therapy is beneficial for non-criminals, but that for criminals, it becomes nothing more than one more criminal operation. In their following appointment, Tony heads to Dr. Melfi's office, and as he reads through one of her magazines, he rips one of the pages out. When Tony walks in for his appointment, Tony starts sharing how sad he is since AJ tried to take his life, and knowing that his daughter no longer wants to be a doctor, but instead wants to be a defense attorney to protect criminals. While Tony is faking his depression yet again, Dr. Melfi jumps in and tells Tony that she can no longer treat him. She shares with Tony that talk therapy is of no use to someone like him and that he should seek another psychiatrist to work with to help him with his so-called depression. Tony is in shock at first, and he cannot believe that Dr. Melfi would cut him off like that. Tony erupts out of his seat and ironically accuses Dr. Melfi of acting immorally.
I don't think I can help you.
Remember, I am summarizing this entire series as well as other popular works of literature, movies, and TV shows as well. Subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss the next episode or series. Let me know what you'd like me to summarize in the comment section below. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Visit our merch store and support us on Patreon if you can. Doing this helps my channel out tremendously. I really thank you for your support.
I think what you're doing is immoral.
While Tony is back at his home, we see he is wearing white sneakers, which represents death. As he is cleaning the pool, Janice stops by to share with Tony that Uncle Junior has run out of money and he no longer can afford to stay at his current psychiatric facility. As a result of this, Junior will be placed in a rundown and badly managed state facility. Tony is of course made happy by this news, but Janice asks if he could help Uncle Junior financially. Tony offers to give Janice $5, and Janice cannot believe how selfish and heartless Tony is to his core. After Tony tasks Bobby with pulling off the hit on Phil Leotardo, Bobby assigns the task to Paulie and Patrick Parisi. Italo and Salvatore are flown in from Italy to perform the execution. Pat Parisi works directly with Corky, and Corky ends up managing Italo and Salvatore through the hit. Corky tells Italo and Salvatore where to find Phil, and they head over to the location. When the two hitmen arrive, they end up taking out Phil's Guma and a man who looks like Phil, but who happens to be the Guma's father. Turns out Phil was already in hiding all along. After the failed attempt, Paulie and Silvio find out from a newspaper article that the hitmen got the wrong guy, and that Phil is most likely still alive. Silvio rushes to tell Tony, and Tony commands everyone to go into hiding immediately. When they call up Bobby to warn him, Bobby leaves his cell phone in his car and does not get the message on time. Bobby heads into a store to buy a new miniature train set of the Blue Comet train. As he is in the middle of purchasing the train set, two armed men approach Bobby and they take his life. Silvio and Patsy are back at the Bada Bing. Silvio manages to grab all the important items he needs from his office, and as he heads out of the club, two armed New York crew members ambush Silvio and Patsy. Silvio is shot and Patsy manages to escape on foot. Later on, we find out from Paulie that Silvio ends up hospitalized, but the doctors say he will most likely not regain his consciousness. Tony speeds home and he tells Carmela that she must go into hiding, and while she is preparing her things, Tony goes upstairs to AJ's room. Tony tells AJ that Bobby was murdered and that he must go into hiding with Carmela and protect both her and his aunt Janice. AJ begins to cry and sob uncontrollably, and Tony grows enraged at how weak of a man AJ is. Tony rips AJ off the bed, and his Xbox comes crumbling down in a symbolic representation of what Tony has been wanting to do for a long time. AJ continues to cry uncontrollably. As Tony walks out of AJ's room, he looks over at his laptop and notices AJ is only concerned with global affairs because it serves as an escape for AJ. While AJ reads about wars and global conspiracy theories, he does not have to think about his role as a man. He does not have to face the reality that he is lazy and refuses to work on himself. In the final scene, Tony and the rest of his crew go into hiding. Tony heads upstairs with his rifle, and as he is laying down on his bed, Tony remembers the conversation he had with Bobby on his boat, where Bobby told Tony, "You probably don't even hear it when it happens." Tony looks down at the closed door of his room. Now it is only that door that separates Tony from the consequence of every decision he ever made.
You probably don't even hear it when it happens, right?
That was episode number 85, titled The Blue Comet. To watch the next or previous episode summary, click on the link in the description or at the end of this video. In the description, you will also find additional links for supporting our channel. See you on the next episode. Goodbye.
I was already having so much trouble maintaining.
We upload new videos every week, so subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to hit the like button as well. Click the notification bell to be notified of when we upload these videos. See you on the next episode of Culture Screen.